Dan Hurley says no. The response in Los Angeles has just been downright ugly and bitter. LA Times lead columnist said this is the ultimate humiliation of the Lakers. This franchise should be in despair. It has shown us the dysfunction. Laker fans should be disillusioned. Now, what I don't quite understand, as harsh as that is, and columnist Bill Plaschke, who I really like, is a fine writer, they did make a hell of an offer. They met with him for 6 hours. And Dan Hurley came away saying, I was awed at the exchange of information with Pelinka and the meeting with Jeannie Buss. At the end of the day, he wanted to go home and he wanted to stay on the East Coast. And he said, I think the quote that we talked about on Monday was, my heart is on this campus in Storrs, Connecticut. So I think just, burning the Lakers organization at the stake the way the LA Times did, I thought was way over response. If they lowballed him and said, yeah, we want you to come, $3 million. I could understand banging up. They offered him 6 years, $70 million plus bonuses on top of it if they kept winning world championships. And he called LeBron James a coach killer. Says nobody wants to coach LeBron. He says nobody wants to trust Rob Pelinka and his player personnel.
Plaschke said that?
Yes. He just smoked him. I thought it was a little bit gross overreaction.
Right.
I think it was more about Hurley wanting to stay on the East Coast and stay home rather than accept the challenge in the NBA. They are meeting for a second time tomorrow and Sunday with J.J. Redick. They've already met a second time with New Orleans and San Antonio assistant James Borrego. Borrego's also a finalist with the Cleveland Cavaliers job. So I guess I'm going to disagree with the columnist in the LA Times because this was what Hurley wanted to do. It's not what the Lakers did not do. So we'll see where the Lakers go from here. And John Riley says...
So this was a $70 million over 6 years was the offer?
Yes, plus if you win championships, there'll be add-ons.
So, like a little over $10 million a year, plus maybe bonuses.
And he was making $5 million from UConn, and they're going to bump him up some, but there's only so much they can do.
Well, who's the highest paid coach in the NBA? And are they making more than $10 million a year?
I'd say it's probably close. I'm not sure whether it's Popovich. Steve Kerr's making an enormous amount of money. There's been a lot of turnover. It might be one of those two, but...
How big was Tyrone Lue's re-extension?
I don't think it was that high. I want to say maybe 7 to 8 million. He was making in the fours.
So that was... I've heard people say it was a lowball offer, even at over 10 million a year. Sounds like he might have been the highest paid coach in the NBA.
He would have been close, if not tops, state-of-the-art money. I mean, they were willing to write a check, an all-time high check for the Lakers, who are rich.
Well, again, it might be, cultural issues too, East Coast, West Coast, and, he's a big Jersey guy and all of that. I mean,
I was told that he wanted input in player acquisitions, which would be taking some of the decision-making power away from Pelinka, and maybe he imagined that would be a problem. I was also told by an NBA East Coast writer that maybe it's got something to do with today's modern-day NBA player. You and I had talked about me being in your face.
Yeah.
And if you're LeBron James, how are you going to like me being in your face? Because that's the way he coaches.
Yeah. And that works with college students. It doesn't work with guys making 10 times what you're making. So yeah, this is interesting. But let's see who's next. J.J. Redick back in the mix?
Yeah, J.J. Redick's back in the mix. I was told that Coach K recommended Jay Wright of Villanova for the next conversation. I've not been able to find out whether or not Wright is interested. At least the people in Philadelphia that I canvass, they have not heard, or whether Wright even wants to get back into basketball at any level. So, but right now it seems to be two. It's either J.J. Redick or Borrego, unless something happens vis-a-vis Jay Wright. And the Dan Hurley thing kind of came out of the clouds, and there it was. Yeah, that's how they did a good job keeping that secret. So I guess anything is possible. Laker line is open. Do you agree the bashing of the Lakers organization by the LA Times, or do you think it was just a cheap shot column to get attention? We go from that